The problem with our society can be found with Snow White and what's going on with Snow White. We have too many people that don't know what it's like to actually work at a reprimand because when they went out on tour for publicity, she starts in with all of her political nonsense. And that wasn't helping Disney.
The stage is set for one of the most dramatic Hollywood fallouts in recent memory, and at the center of it all is Rachel Zegler, the once promising starlet who has gone from being Disney's rising princess to a name whispered with caution in industry circles. It's a story that has everything. A meteoric rise, public backlash, behind-the-scenes feuds, and now rumors of desperate attempts to repair the damage. The whispers surrounding her strained relationship with Gadot and the alleged humiliation captured in a leaked video are just the tip of the iceberg. But how did things spiral so spectacularly out of control for Zegler? Let's dive into the tangled web of drama that has the entire entertainment world buzzing.
Join this elite group of Disney princesses. Can you believe it?
No, not at all. It's unbelievable. I mean, I look at that girl and I have no idea what I'm looking at. It's really quite wonderful to be a part of the Disney family and obviously to join the league of so many wonderful live action princesses, but also so many that have been depicted in animation as well. This is the flagship animation that made Disney what it is. And
it's hard to believe that just a few years ago, Rachel Zegler was heralded as one of Hollywood's most exciting new talents. After dazzling audiences in Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, she seemed destined for greatness. But as the saying goes, the higher you climb, the harder you fall, and Zegler's fall has been nothing short of dramatic. The trouble began with her casting as Snow White in Disney's live-action adaptation of the classic tale. What should have been a dream role quickly turned into a nightmare as her every move and word became a lightning rod for controversy. The first rumblings of discontent came when Zegler, in an interview that has since been picked apart by critics and fans alike, dismissed the original 1937 animated film as outdated. She questioned the themes of true love and Prince Charming, calling the prince a stalker, and suggesting that the story needed a modern feminist update. While such comments might not have raised eyebrows in some circles, they struck a nerve with Disney's core audience, many of whom cherish the studio's classic films as untouchable treasures. The backlash was swift, with fans accusing her of disrespecting the legacy of one of Disney's most beloved characters. For many, it was the first sign that Zegler might not be the right fit for the role.
I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
But the controversies didn't stop there. As the film's release approached, Zegler found herself embroiled in political debates that only further alienated segments of the audience. Her posts on social media, including a now infamous statement supporting Palestine, drew sharp criticism, particularly from those who saw her comments as inflammatory or divisive. To make matters worse, her remarks reportedly led to heightened security measures for her co-star Gal Gadot, who has been a vocal supporter of Israel. A tension between the two actresses became the subject of endless speculation, with insiders claiming that their relationship on set was anything but harmonious.
Cast for Snow White, and of course, if you are a business like Disney, you are leaning into what the movie Snow White meant to the people that were raised on it. People like me who watched Disney princess movies when the world was okay and it was acceptable for us to dream about being a princess as a woman and meeting a handsome prince. But oh no, these big bad feminists now are telling us that's ridiculous. How dare you want to meet a handsome prince?
Behind the scenes, the drama was reportedly even more intense. According to rumors, Zegler's outspoken nature and refusal to back down from her positions created friction not just with Gadot, but also with the film's producers and Disney executives. One source alleged that producer Mark Platt had to fly to New York to personally address Zegler's controversial posts, only to leave the meeting frustrated by her unwillingness to compromise. Another insider described the atmosphere on set as tense, with Zegler and Gadot allegedly kept apart as much as possible to avoid further conflict.
Variety breaks down how after this tweet went viral, the studio was shocked that she would mix a promo tweet with a political statement. As a result, Mark Platt flew to New York to speak with her in person.
If the behind-the-scenes drama wasn't enough, Zegler's public persona also became a point of contention. Her social media posts, which often included pointed political statements and critiques of the entertainment industry, were seen by some as refreshing honesty, but by others as unprofessional and combative. Sean Ono Lennon, the son of John Lennon, and Yoko Ono didn't hold back in his now deleted critique of Zegler, calling her spoiled and disconnected. While he later acknowledged that the backlash against her had gone too far, his comments added fuel to the fire, further tarnishing Zegler's reputation.
Like, did you have to audition for Snow White, or like, oh, they saw you in West Side Story, they're like, you're Snow White?
West Side Story was kind of nowhere near coming out. We were about like 6 months away from release, and no footage had been seen. And I actually got a really glowing recommendation from Steven Spielberg to Mark Webb, who directed Snow White, saying that. And I also got a text from Steven kind of alluding to the fact that I had gotten the part before I had found out.
Pedro Pascal, another Hollywood heavyweight, tried to offer a lifeline by publicly supporting Zegler, calling her an icon on social media. However, even his endorsement sparked controversy, with critics accusing him of enabling what they saw as her problematic behavior. The incident highlighted just how polarizing Zegler had become, with even her defenders coming under fire for supporting her. As the release date for Snow White approached, the controversies began to take a tangible toll on the film's prospect. Advanced ticket sales were reportedly lackluster, and Disney's marketing team seemed to be operating in damage control mode. The usual fanfare that accompanies a major Disney release was notably subdued, with limited press appearances and a scaled-down promotional campaign. When the film finally hit theaters, its underwhelming box office performance was seen by many as a direct result of the negative publicity surrounding Zegler.
Crying on that stage.
When am I not crying in public? It's so upsetting.
Why were you crying?
Oh my gosh, I saw the well, we didn't even see. We didn't even see, but I saw the logo and I went, that's my name, Snow White's up there, and I cried my eyes out.
And they came the leaked video. According to rumors, the footage, allegedly shared by Gal Gadot, shows a visibly upset Zegler in what appears to be a private moment, pleading for forgiveness. In the video, Zegler reportedly acknowledges the damage her actions have caused and asks Gadot to put in a good word for her with Disney executives. While the authenticity of the video has not been confirmed, its existence has become a hot topic of discussion, with some seeing it as a sign of Zegler's desperation and others as evidence of her willingness to take responsibility for her mistakes.
Says Rachel Zegler hurt the film's box office with her actions in since-deleted comment. This is the exchange.
The leaked videos only added to the speculation about the state of Zegler's career. Insiders claim that Disney is reevaluating its relationship with the actress, with some even suggesting that she may be quietly blacklisted from future projects. While Zegler has not publicly addressed the rumors, her recent social media activity, including changes to her Instagram bio, has been scrutinized for clues about her state of mind. One recent update, in which she referred to herself as fearless, fair, brave, and true, was seen by some as a defiant response to her critics, while others interpreted it as an attempt to align herself with the values of her Snow White character.
Just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White is running for president.
The relationship between Zegler and Gadot, once touted as a selling point for the film, now seems irreparably damaged. Reports of tension between the two actresses have been corroborated by multiple sources, with one insider describing their dynamic as icy during the film's promotional event. Gadot, for her part, has maintained a more neutral public stance, but her decision to allegedly leak the video has raised questions about her own role in the unfolding drama.
There's been so much buzz about this and about you. What's it like hearing people say all these really nice things?
It's very validating. A lot of hard work has gone into this film, but so much love, truly, speaking for myself and also for the filmmakers behind it.
And the dust begins to settle, one thing is clear. Rachel Zegler's journey from rising star to Hollywood pariah is a cautionary tale for the social media age. Her story raises important questions about the balance between personal expression and professional responsibility, as well as the challenges faced by young actors navigating the pressures of fame. But with the rumors swirling about potential legal and financial repercussion, the full extent of the fallout from Zegler's actions remains to be seen. For now, all eyes are on Disney and the decisions they'll make in the weeks and months ahead, as the industry watches to see if Zegler can find a path to redemption or if her career will be yet another casualty of Hollywood's unforgiving spotlight.
Backlash for various reasons in the lead up to its release. Zegler had called the original Snow White movie dated and weird and said Prince Charming was a stalker.
The fallout from Rachel Zegler's actions, both on and off screen, is proving to be an unprecedented storm for Disney, and the financial and legal ramifications are looming larger with every passing day. The entertainment giant now finds itself at the center of an unfolding disaster that has left executives scrambling to salvage what remains of their investment in Snow White. But the question everyone's asking is, how did things get this bad? Stark, and more importantly, what does this mean for Zegler, Disney, and the future of their once unshakable live-action remake empire?
And you can have that in your persona, but when you come out and the freedom of speech was to condemn the very thing that you're paid to build? Are you kidding me?
Let's start with the numbers, because if there's one thing that Hollywood values above all else, it's the bottom line. Snow White came with a jaw-dropping production and budget of over $270 million. Thanks to extensive delays, reshoots, and what insiders describe as a chaotic creative process, riddled with disagreements. On top of that, Disney reportedly poured another $100 million into marketing the film globally. But with a dismal start at the box office, taking in just $861 million worldwide during its opening weekend, it's clear that the film is tracking to lose money, and not just a little. Sources suggest Disney could be facing losses of up to $115 million when all is said and done. For a studio that prides itself on turning nostalgia into gold, this kind of financial debacle is unheard of.
Numbers scream. People are screaming. Disney, get it together. Who is the Disney's customer? You talk about this all the time, Pat.
The situation has left Disney executives in a state of panic, and rumors are swirling that they're exploring all avenues to recoup their losses. One particularly juicy piece of gossip making the rounds is that Disney is considering legal action against Zegler herself. According to insiders, the studio's leadership believes her controversial comments and social media activity have directly contributed to the film's poor performance. A source close to the situation reportedly described her actions as reckless and suggested that she violated the terms of her contract by bringing negative attention to the project. If true, this would mark an extraordinary move by Disney, which has historically gone to great lengths to protect its stars from public scrutiny. But with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, it seems the company might be willing to make an example of Zegler to protect its brand.
About Israel and Gaza, I don't care at all. I care a little bit more about Rachel Zegler having like an underlying amount of contempt for the intellectual property. Like if you're just gonna make...
Whilst the legal implications for Zegler don't stop there, there's growing speculation that other industry players could also take action against her. Some reports suggest that the Gadot team is considering legal steps over the alleged threat she received after Zegler's pro-Palestinian comments went viral. While Gadot has remained tight-lipped publicly, sources claim her team is furious that the situation escalated to the point where Disney had to increase security for her appearances. The tension between the two actresses, which was already palpable during the film's press tour, has now reached a boiling point. And if the leaked video of Zegler pleading for Gadot's help is any indication, it seems that even Zegler herself recognizes the precariousness of her position.
We're still waiting.
You see yourself as the evil queen. You are not evil. You are not evil. You're a queen, but you're not evil. What was it like seeing yourself as the evil queen for the first time?
We did not see the clip, so I still haven't seen anything. But when I was in makeup, just like she said, we got to work with such an amazing crew, and it was just like the best it could ever be.
But let's not forget that this isn't just about money and legal battles. The reputational damage to Disney is another layer of this unfolding drama. The company's live-action remakes have long been a cornerstone of its strategy to maximize the value of its intellectual property. Films like The Lion King, Aladdin, and Beauty and the Beast raked in billions of dollars globally, proving that nostalgia sells. But Snow White has thrown a wrench into that formula, raising questions about whether audiences are growing tired of these reimaginings, or if the controversies surrounding Zegler have poisoned the well.
Your family's like a bunch of Disney, like crazy Disney people, right?
Are,
including your dad?
Yes, my mom and dad's wedding song was A Whole New World from Aladdin.
Wow.
I was bred for this.
Would they take you to Disneyland, Disney World when you were a kid?
I went to Disney World. Truly, like that was our vacation, our yearly vacation, the four of us, my sister and my parents and I, and they go without us now.
Okay, that is,
One insider described the situation as a perfect storm of bad decisions. From casting choices to marketing missteps to the handling of Zegler's public image, it seems every move Disney made with Snow White has backfired. Even the decision to reimagine the Seven Dwarfs as CGI created magical creatures instead of hiring actors with dwarfism sparked outrage, with critics accusing the studio of erasing representation under the guise of modernizing the story. Add to that Zegler's polarizing comments, and it's no wonder audiences have been hesitant to embrace the film. The financial implications of this debacle extend far beyond Snow White itself. Disney stock has reportedly taken a hit since the film's release, with analysts pointing to the poor box office performance as a key factor. Executives are now questioning the viability of the live-action remake strategy, and there's speculation that the company might put future projects on hold to reassess its approach. This could have a domino effect on other planned remakes, such as Lilo and Stitch and Moana, both of which have already faced their own share of controversies during pre-production.
Parents looking at Disney being like, what are you doing, guys? Like, this is supposed to be a place where magic happens.
The impact on Disney's internal morale has also been the subject of much speculation. Reports from insiders suggest that the Snow White controversy has shaken confidence within the studio, with some employees expressing frustration over the mishandling of the one anonymous source claimed that there were disagreements at the highest levels, with some executives pushing for a more traditional approach to the remake while others advocated for the modernized, progressive angle that ultimately became a flashpoint for criticism. This internal divide reportedly delayed key decisions during production, further escalating the costs and complicating the final product.
Fairest of them all? Apparently it isn't Snow White.
Jonah Platt, whose father helped produce the latest Snow White film, had some very harsh words for star Rachel Zegler.
And adding to the chaos, rumors of creative clashes between director Mark Webb and Disney executives have also surfaced. Some sources allege that Webb pushed back against last-minute script changes and reshoot demands, which were reportedly driven by concerns over Zegler's controversial statements. The director is said to have argued that the film's narrative should remain consistent with the original creative vision, but the studio's leadership felt compelled to address the mounting backlash by toning down or altering certain elements of the story. These conflicting priorities reportedly led to significant delays, with some scenes being entirely reworked just months before the release date. Meanwhile, the online backlash against Zegler has taken on a life of its own, with social media platforms becoming battlegrounds for heated debates. While some users have rallied to Zegler's defense, arguing that the backlash is rooted in deeper issues of bias and unfair expectations placed on young, outspoken actresses, others have been relentless in their criticism. Hashtags calling for Zegler to step away from Hollywood have trended on multiple occasions, with some even targeting her upcoming projects. This digital firestorm has not only fueled public perception of the Snow White controversy, but has also reportedly influenced the studio's decision-making, with Disney executives closely monitoring social media sentiment as they weigh their next steps.
Totally stable thing for her to be posting, wishing harm upon Trump voters, wishing that we have no peace. And I actually thought she wrote the exact statement, Skylar, that she wanted us to have, like she wished explicit harm.
As for Zegler, the rumors of her being blacklisted in Hollywood are growing louder by the day. Industry insiders suggest that studios and producers are wary of working with her, fearing that her outspoken nature and history of stirring controversy could bring unwanted attention to their projects. One producer, speaking on condition of anonymity, reportedly described her as radioactive and suggested that she might need to take a significant step back from the spotlight to rebuild her career. She's talented, no doubt about that, the source said. But talent only gets you so far if people think you're a liability. The question of whether Zegler can bounce back from this remains open. Some believe she'll have to issue a public apology and demonstrate a willingness to change her approach if she wants to regain the industry's trust. Others think she might pivot to smaller, independent projects where her controversial reputation could be an asset rather than a hindrance. After all, Hollywood loves a redemption story, and if Zegler can weather this storm, she might eventually find her way back into the mainstream.
Never would have imagined that I would get to be Snow White. So truly just for people to see someone who looks like them, someone who represents a dreamer, no matter what they look like or where they come from.
In the meantime, the fallout from Snow White continues to ripple across the industry. Disney is reportedly conducting an internal review to determine what went wrong and how to prevent similar disasters in the future. Some executives are said to be advocating for stricter social media guidelines for their stars, while others are pushing for a more cautious approach to casting and storytelling. Whenever changes come from this, one thing is certain: Snow White will be remembered as a turning point for Disney, and not in the way the studio had hoped. As the curtain falls on this dramatic chapter in Hollywood history, viewers are left with more questions than answers. Do you think Rachel Zegler's career can recover from this storm of controversy? And how might Disney's approach to live-action remakes change in the wake of this debacle? Share your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. The conversation is far from over, and your insights could shape the narrative as it continues to unfold. Until next time, stay tuned for more celebrity gossip and Hollywood drama. Guy for now.